let's jump into it. The top 10 teams in the country as I see them right now. We start with number 10, Wisconsin, and this is a frustrating season so far for Wisconsin. Now 22 players and staff have tested positive. Their game against Purdue now has been called off, which means Wisconsin cannot lose another game in their schedule if they want to qualify for the Big Ten championship game. Remember, the conference has said you got to play 6 games in order to play in the conference championship game. So we'll see how that moves forward. By the way, their next game on the schedule is against Michigan. Number 9, I've got Florida. Kyle Trask continues to play well. He's having a monster season, 335 yards per game, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So Florida continues to roll, and they've got a monster game this week against Georgia. I've got Cincinnati at number 8. Folks, they're for real. That defense is incredible. They're giving up only 12 points per game and continue to roll, and they're likely going to be in the conversation for the college football playoff. So be prepared for that. At number 7, I've got BYU. A lot of people think that Cincinnati should be ahead of BYU. The reason I have BYU ahead of Cincinnati is because of Zach Wilson. He is an outstanding player. I think he would be the best player on the field if those two teams played. 74%, 11.2 yards per attempt right now, 19 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. BYU only has 3 games left. Monster game this week, by the way. On Friday night on FS1, BYU takes on Boise State. If they can win this week, I think there's a legitimate chance that you could start hearing about them in the playoff and certainly in the New Year's Six. I've got Georgia at number 6. Georgia, I don't want to say they're disappointing. I'm just saying that they have got a huge issue, and that's their offense. All right, this team is clearly playoff caliber. Their offense is not. Did you know there's only been one offense in the history of the college football playoff that did not average at least 30 points per game in the season in which they went to the playoff? That was Michigan State in 2015. Remember, they got shut out by Bama in that playoff. They averaged 29 and some change in that year. And right now, here Georgia is 29.2 points per game. So they've got to get better on offense. That's a serious limiting factor for them. Texas A&M, I've got a number 5, and the reason is they're better offensively than Georgia. Jimbo Fisher in his tenure there at College Station, 19-2 against non-top 10 opponents. Folks, they've only got one ranked opponent left on their schedule. It's Auburn. I think they're 25th, 24th right now in the country. And there's a good chance Auburn won't be ranked when they play them because Auburn's going to have to play Bama before they face the Aggies. So watch out for A&M. Notre Dame at number 4. I can't wait to see them play this weekend against Clemson, and they've got a huge chance. With Lawrence out of the lineup, folks, Notre Dame has got a great chance to win that game, in particular after you saw the way that Clemson played against Boston College without their leader last week, even with the 18-point comeback. Notre Dame's going to have to beat Clemson at some point this year in order to go to the playoff. I think their best chance is at home this week. There without Trevor Lawrence on the field. And then for me, the top 3 teams, I've got all as number 1. All right. It's Clemson, it's Alabama, it's Ohio State. These 3 teams, I think, are clearly the class of the country. We saw that with Ohio State clearly handling Penn State in what will be their most difficult game in the Big Ten. Alabama shut out Mississippi State. First time Mike Leach as a head coach or an assistant has ever been shut out. So Bama playing great defense. Clemson comes back with their true freshman quarterback. Travis Etienne sets the all-time ACC rushing record. Like, these 3 teams are just that good, and I can't wait to see Notre Dame play them this year. Real quick, before I move on here, I want to give a quick shout-out to 3 individual players who I thought were outstanding last week. And I'm going to start with Devonta Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. 200 and some change, 203 yards receiving on 11 catches. Guess how many yards Mississippi State had total? 200 yards. So the wide receiver for Bama outgained Mississippi State by himself. He was tremendous, in particular in a week in which they're missing Jalen Waddle, and Devontae comes up, and he was absolutely huge. And then 2 other players who I saw firsthand. Antoine Simmons, the linebacker from Michigan State, was a monster against Michigan. He was great. 11 tackles, half tackle for loss. He was all over the field. You could tell his leadership was huge. The senior played his high school football across the street from the Big House at Pioneer High School, literally across the street. You could see the Big House from his high school stadium. Did not want to go to Michigan, ends up at Michigan State. What a sweet victory that must have been in a rivalry game. And then another great individual performance from that game, Ricky White, the wide receiver, true freshman from Michigan State. 8 catches, 196 yards. He was phenomenal. He beat those corners up and down the field. and they found a little star on their hands there. Michigan State did. So excellent win from the Spartans. Can't tell how happy they were, obviously, to get Mel Tucker's first win and have it come against Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College Football on Fox.